AJOKE'S vlog. My name is AJOKE. If you are a first timer to my channel, welcome to the gang. Welcome to the gang, guys. Welcome to the gang. It's such an honor to welcome you to AJOKE'S gang. And okay, guys, officially from me to you, Happy Children's Day. You did not expect me to say Happy Children's Day to you, but no. I'm still single Pringle. And I'm not yet married. Even if I'm married, I'm still somebody's child. So for those of you like me that are grown, let's not say old, that are grown and still find this childlike nature in their heart of hearts, Happy Children's Day. But for those of you that are also grown, or maybe not so grown like me, and you struggle with maturity and you just want to always appear prim, proper and matured, please, you people should not go and collect your Happy Children's Day, but you can stay here. I'm going to be releasing my childhood experience. Like, seriously, I don't know who is more savage, this girl no, don't laugh, please, don't laugh. This girl that I was, or this lady that I am, or this woman that I am. I don't know who is more childish, really, guys, because in as much as we all want to act grown and all that, see, let's just take a chill pill. This is not the vlog I was going to upload. I have a vlog about details of China that I want to upload, guys. So keep your fingers crossed and get it. Oh, if you're yet to subscribe, please do subscribe to my channel. Please do subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, click on notification bell icon so that you can be notified when I upload a new video. So let me just streamline it to 5 childhood memories that the more I think about it now, the more I'm like, what kind of person are you? Okay, the number one, please don't judge me before we start. Please don't judge me. Just laugh and comment. Don't judge me, please. Okay, number one childhood memory that I remember this morning, and that is the reason why I'm doing this vlog. Like, immediately I just remembered it's Children's Day, and I was like, oh, let me go to Instagram and wish people Happy Children's Day. And that thing was like, who are you deceiving? Then it brought this memory to my mind. Basically, I have a very, very beautiful childhood till the point where my parents' marriage started having issue. That was where, at the point I grew up, like, people say, what happened to you? I just grew up. I just had to be in charge of so much at a very young age. I have to be in charge of so much at a very young age. I stopped thinking like a child. Too early. I learned about responsibility. I learned about picking battles, knowing that someone hates you. I learned all that pretty quick. So this one was, I think I was still secondary school, maybe junior secondary. Okay, the American people would say high school, maybe year 2. Yeah, I think year 2 or going to year 3. The junior, maybe middle school or whatever. I sure know it's GSS 2. In Nigerian thing, they call it GSS 2 going to GSS 3. So one of my uncles came. That uncle was my father's younger brother. So he came to the house, and I think he was traveling, and he just dropped by to see us. And I overheard him and my mother having this discussion about what is going on with my dad and my mother and home front and everything. And my mom was cooking soup for him so that he can eat and go ahead with his journey. So I remember that I heard him say clearly that if anything happens to my dad, that he would make sure my mom was held responsible. I'm like, this is the father that I've not even seen in months, and you're saying that because my mom is complaining to you because of what is going on, and you're even saying that if anything happens to my dad, my mom would be held responsible. Now, please don't blame me if I'm going to say the next thing. I just watched a movie called The Widow, where I saw an actress play the role of a widow, and the husband died, and the actress was made to go through some traditional issues and rights, and it was mostly because part of it was tradition, and the other part was the fact that the husband's family thought she killed her husband. So immediately I heard it was going to hold my mom responsible. My child mind just went to the whole scenario of what happened in that movie. So my mom was still trying to talk to him and get the conversation going smoothly without arguments and all that. And then she called me, Bolanle, lo wo beto alori no ye ko so kale. Like, Bolanle, go and check the soup on the fire and turn the lights off so that your uncle can eat. Then I just got to the kitchen. I was like, what can I do? What can I do to show this man that I'm not really happy with what he said? Then I remember that, wait, my mom was cooking the last pieces of meat in our fridge. Like, mom was cooking the last pieces of meat in our fridge, and I know the way my mom serves. Like, basically, typical African mothers would serve their husband's family first and make sure you are convenient and give you, like, maybe even all the pieces of meat, and you eat and you leave the rest. And I'm like, oh, so if you leave the rest now, we are the ones that will eat the leftover. And yet, if anything happens to my father, you're going to hold my mother responsible. I don't know. I just carried the pot of soup, put off the stove. I carried the pot of soup and I turned it. Piam! Immediately I turned it, I poured it off. My mother heard and she ran there. What is happening? What is happening? I was like, the pot slipped. She just gave me a hot slap. She gave me a very hot slap. Like, she wasn't even concerned about the soup pouring on me. She was not even asking me if the soup poured on me. The thing she was saying is that, what will your uncle eat? What will your uncle eat? And he will now say that we don't want to entertain him. What will your uncle eat? The slap was really painful, but in my mind, I was really happy. And then that was how my mom was like, okay, fine, let me blend some pepper, make this whole thing. And it was like, no, I'm leaving. I was just so fulfilled. I was just so basically fulfilled. Like, you ain't gonna come into this house to eat. You're not our friend. You're not on the same page with us. So you ain't gonna come to this house to eat. And my mom punished me, but then that was the old, when my mom was punishing me, and in my mind, they're like, yeah, it's deserving. Uncle did not eat, and that is okay. So number 2 childhood memory was going to church because I was crushing on a boy. Jesus. Going to church because I was crushing on a boy. Like, basically, right now, I don't have crush. Ever since I crushed on that boy, and then he did not like me back, so I stopped crushing. There's no how a guy will be handsome. I will not even just crush on you. Last I will zone you. I'll start calling you brother, or you just stay my friend for life. That's it. I don't crush. Nobody has time to crush here. Okay, so basically, my mom does not like going to this church. But I so much like this church. It's not our church, actually. My neighbors are the one attending this church. It was anointed. So my neighbors were the one attending this church. It was not our church. But then there are some young guys there now. I like them. I was crushing on one of them. So anytime they have a video, when my neighbors are going to church, I'll go and call my mom. Mom, let's go to video. I had a bad dream yesterday. Let us go and pray. Every time I'm always having bad dream when this church was going on. We're always going to church. And trust my Nigerian mother now. Immediately she got there and she saw that there were a lot of teenage guys there. Jesus, you will come and sleep beside me. If you want to wake me up, go and wee together. You're not going anywhere. So one day, this is what basically happened. We got to church. it was a praise night. It was a praise and worship evening, a vigil. So we got to church and the dancing and everything was going on, blah 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 blah. So I just saw the guy walk out, so I wanted to go and see what the guy so I wanted to go and see what the guy was going out to do. Basically, anytime I go to that church, I was stalking the guy. If he goes out of the church, I go out of the church. I try to make sure I know where he's seated in that church. Like, he must sit at a place where I can be able to see him, or I must sit at a place where I can be able to see him. So that day he went out and I just told my mom, oh, mom, I want to go and use the loo. I want to go to the loo. And she was like, okay, fine, you can go. And then I never knew my mom was watching me. Then I went out and I stood at the gate. He was on call. I sat down there. I was listening to everything he said. When we now got home, my mom was now asking me, yesterday, what happened? Why were you sitting outside? Are you a witch? Do you have an evil spirit? Why would you leave a church and go and sit down outside? Then I had to give my mom an answer. So I thought of, if I told her that I went outside to listen to what a boy was saying, one, that is the end of going to that church. That would be the end of going to that church. Two, she would just make sure she calls my father. Like, see, I'm not going to be responsible for this girl if she turns out bad. And then she would just call a family meeting, tell everybody, and I'm like, I don't want to go through that thing. So what I did was the first thing that came to my mind, I was just like, excuse me, ma, I have spiritual husband. So I went out to see my spiritual husband. Now, what do I even know about spiritual husband then? Blame Nigerian movies. Blame Mount Zion. Blame Mount Zion movies. Especially The Captive of the Mighty. You know, these kind of movies are what gave me reasons to be a very, very naughty girl growing up. So I don't know if American people do not understand the concept of spiritual husband. I don't know if you people have spiritual husband, but then African people said there are spiritual husbands. Like, it's a Nigerian thing, maybe African thing. They believe people have spiritual husband, that they have spirit husbands that they are married to. I don't know. It's just like that. I saw it in the movie. So I just told my mom that I had spiritual husband. See, now this issue of spiritual husband now brought us to the third one. Like, this is one part of my childhood memory that it's really, really painful, because it's an abuse from a man of God. It's basically an abuse from a man of God. Okay, so my mom was like, oh, fine, thank you for talking to me. I will not judge you and all that, so that I would be safe. So she said, we are going to see a pastor and we are going to pray about it. And I don't know how to tell her that I was lying, that I went out to see a boy. I did not know how to tell my Nigerian mother. So she took me to this pastor. The name of the church is Philadelphia in Ibadan. So we went to that church. That was the church we were attending at that time. So we went to the church and we told the pastor that my mom said, oh, my daughter has spiritual husband. So I was feeling like, okay, the pastor is a pastor now. God's spirit is dwelling in the pastor. So the pastor would probably pray and know that I was lying. So at that point, I knew this thing would actually show if the pastor has God's spirit. And at that point, the pastor was always telling us about God speaking to people. So I was like, okay, fine, let God speak to you and tell you I'm lying, so that I can even actually know that God was speaking to you. So that was how the pastor said we should pray, and we prayed. And the pastor said God told him that I was an ogbanje. Now, ogbanje means a mermaid. A mermaid. Like, I am from the spirit, I'm from the ocean kingdom and all that. I was just sitting there, I was just looking at this pastor in my mind. But then I can't say the truth, because I've made my mom go through all this stress to come to this point. And now own up that I've been lying. So I kept quiet, and the pastor was like, okay, Dad, we have to do dry marathon fasting. Dry marathon fasting is the fasting you do for 24 hours without food, without water. So my mom was like, oh, no problem, I'll fast with you. I am with you, you'll be fine. So I was like, oh God, I like food. How am I going to cope? But then you brought this on yourself, bro. You brought this on yourself, so you have to just fast. So we started the fasting. And it was almost time, evening time, for me to break the fast and eat. So the pastor, we've been praying in between the fasting period. So the pastor told my mom that my mom should go and buy fruits for me to eat so that we can break the fast, and we do a vigil together, everybody, and we go home the next morning. So immediately my mom stepped out, the man started saying we should pray, and we started praying, and then he just brought out brooms, a new broom, a very new African broom, and started beating me all over my body, started beating me. And then it got to a point that I was so weak, and he told me that when my mom comes back, that I should tell my mom that he had delivered me and the evil spirit has stepped out of my body. That if I did not tell my mom that he delivered me and the evil spirit has left my body, he would make sure that we have this fast again, and he will beat me again. So I agreed. I was like, okay, pastor, I'm going to tell my mom. So immediately my mom got back, she saw the marks on my body, and she was like, what happened? And it was like, and when he was praying for me, I was trying to attack him. The evil spirit in me was trying to attack him, and he had a broom on the altar that he has prayed upon, and he used it to send out the evil spirit out of me. And he was like, is it that not true? Then I was like, yes, it's true. The evil spirit has gone. He has delivered me. So at that point, from that time, I lost faith in pastors. I read childhood memories. Number four is the fact that my dad doesn't take average for an answer. My dad doesn't take average for an answer, and I think that is actually a good thing and a bad thing for me, because he always made me think of giving my best at all time, putting my best in the things I should do. And another thing is that it's also bad in a way that it's actually affected my self-esteem at the point where I was struggling with mathematics or science-based course, and I was really struggling so bad. And my teachers were actually, one of my teachers actually told me that it's better for me to drop out of school than coming to a private school and wasting my dad's money, because at that point I was attending one of the most expensive secondary schools in Nigeria, Ibadan. At that time I was attending George and Duke, and if people that knows George and Duke knows that George and Duke is really, really, really expensive. Like, not even as expensive, very, very expensive, really then. So he was saying that I should drop out of school, I should go to a public school. I was wasting my father's money and all that. So it really affected my self-esteem. Like, it's either my best or I am not enough. And then that dwelled with me for a very long time, that I am not enough. Till the point where God helped me, I started having a mind change, and here I am today. Now, number five is the fact that I went to a body, and during Easter break, there was one Easter break that my mom actually called and said I should not come home, that it was cheaper if she was going to send me food stuff. And I stayed in school, and there was a day like that. I was like, oh, I should be able to cook. Though the dormitory law says no cooking. So I was like, okay, fine, I should be able to cook. So myself and some junior students, I was the only senior student in school then, went ahead. We took butter, vegetables, and we were cooking and all that. And that was how the house mistress came in, and I was caught. And she was like, we are going to call your parents. I'm like, no, please don't call my parents. I won't do that again. It was really crazy. Like, I don't know. Looking back, I was like, did you actually do that? Did you actually do that? Did you actually do that? So those are the major 5 that I can. It's not like I can remember that actually, but then that is childhood. That is what make childhood childhood. That is what make childhood childhood. Like, that is part of my childhood. Those are part of the things that made me one way or the other, and I learned. I don't know. I don't know how this vlog would do actually, but I actually want to just put this vlog here. Like, maybe one day when I get married or something, I'll be able to show this to my kids or my grandkids, God willing. So guys, if you're here to subscribe, please do subscribe, comment, like, and share. Till I come your way, God bless you. May His face shine upon you. Bye bye.